Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of a Pretty Little Podcast. I'm Allie, Violet Vixen Commissaro, and I'm here with the gorgeous Jessie.
Hi, guys. Tonight we have JV Green. He is a versatile and dynamic force in the metal scene, known for his multifaceted talents as an artist. A true powerhouse drummer of Burial Oath, Cloak, and creative mind behind Wild Times. He showcases his ability to blend raw energy with rhythm. Valued just as much off stage, I'm very excited to have my friend JV here today. Hi, welcome.
Hey, thanks
Hey.
for having me. I appreciate it. Quite the intro. Thank you so much for the kind words.
I killed it. I'm very happy with that one. I burned the midnight oil on that.
Well, I appreciate it.
I'd like to start off by saying I'd like to know about your journey into drumming. What initially inspired you to pick up the drums?
Sure. Oh boy. That's a good question. I think like any '90s kid, it was Slipknot. Even though I don't listen to much of it anymore, it's just I was like eight years old,
I was
eight
just
or
at
nine.
their 25th anniversary.
They just played. It was Slipknot Knocked Loose, and people. It was really funny because a lot of people that are like too cool for like anything were there, and they were like, "I'm here to see Slipknot," and I was like,
Of course.
I was like, "That's really funny because you don't want fuck with the new Tomb Mold album because it's too proggy." So it's
Right.
It was awesome though because the generations, like I was telling Jessie earlier, the generations that were at Slipknot, the energy, and they played all of their old stuff. So
Yeah, it was.
Into it, I was like, oh, I hope I like know any of the like newer stuff just because like, I lose track of some of it, obviously, with all the new and upcoming bands, but they played all the old stuff. I was in my zone.
Yeah, I was. They played Pittsburgh. It was like a couple nights ago, but obviously Cloak is in Europe right now, so I was upset that I didn't get to see that because I heard they were playing material that was '99 and prior, which is what inspired the drumming in the first place. So yeah, it would have been cool to see. Maybe I'll get my chance again someday. Who knows?
You definitely will.
Hopefully.
Definitely. Who were some of your early influences? And are there any specific artists or albums that you find yourself returning to for inspiration?
Oh, that's a good question too. Just being a black metalhead, Nicholas Barker from Dimmu Borgir.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, him and I loved his work in Cradle of Filth when I was a kid, but I guess when I discovered Cradle of Filth, it was Adrian Erlinson. And both of those guys, just being into Cradle of Filth and Dimmu Borgir, were quite inspirational. Nicholas Barker was always good at the technical kind of cymbal stuff, and he was really quick with his feet. And I remember hearing a blast beat by him for the first time, and I was like, yeah, I want to do that. And he pretty much single-handedly taught me how to blast, so that was cool.
That's so cool. Cradle of Filth was such a pivotal band for me. So I really fell deep into music because obviously I'm from Philly. The people call me like I see you went the Viva La Bands route. So the Hymn, the CKY, the Cradle of Filth, Turbo Negro, like all those bands, like I went the Viva La Bands. I was completely into that. So Danny Filth, and like Cradle of Filth really got me into that Demi Borgir and that almost like it sent me down to like a very behemoth route. I was like in the trip pants doing the symphonics, like I was feeling the symphonic black metal.
Oh yeah. It's cool. We just played speaking of symphonic, Emperor with Brutal. We played Brutal Assault last night, and it was quite the experience. I never got to see Emperor, and they were another one of those early symphonic bands where I was like, oh, this shit's cool. I got to do that. So it's quite the experience. It was really cool to see.
I always tell people, I'm like, shame you missed out on that. That was a real era.
Yeah, definitely.
The action's incredible. I love that. I love
I
some.
think we grew up through that though. Like I was kind of the same way with the whole BAM thing. I think anyone that was like a '90s kid kind of.
Mhm.
I mean, I
This-
still listen to him records and CKY records. I
I
think they're great.
we bonded over that
Yeah, it
because
was him. Yep.
it's coming like weirdly full circle because I'm a certified, like I'm a himbo. I'm a real one. I got that heartogram tramp stamp. So my chest piece, I got hymn lyrics disguised in like dark lettering, so it looks like a metal font. It's hymn lyrics
Oh man.
mixed. So but I used to get like the roasted, so I did a lot of it. I'd always joke like ironically, like, yeah, I got that hymn chest piece. Yeah, I got that hymn tramp stamp. But now people are
Yeah.
like, hey Jess, like so like the D Beat kids are like, oh yeah, we love him. I'm like, okay, you know, have full circle. We love that. You're coming back around. I welcome you
Do
back.
they?
So
No, yeah, that was a cool band. I'm still very much into them. In fact, after every tour, I always have to trip back from Atlanta to Cleveland because Cloak is Atlanta based, and that's
yeah.
quite far. This time I flew, just Europe, but normally I drive, and it's a 10-hour drive.
Whoa.
And every time I take the drive, I always listen to him on the drive home, just because it's nostalgic. It reminds me of being a kid and all that. So
But what's your favorite hymn album? This is how I really get to know.
that's a good one too. I don't know. So I think obvious maybe Venus Doom,
Okay.
just because it's heavy and it's a little darker, and I'm a typo negative head, so that was kind of. But I think a lot of people stopped listening to him a little too early because that last one they put out, Tears on Tape, was
Yeah.
it was a hymn record for him fans. I think it was kind of a perfect send off for them. Like I don't think there's a bad song on that record.
I have to say my favorite is Greatest Love Songs because I think that if the hymn haters, I give them that album. I said, tell me this isn't Doom.
Yeah.
Tell me this isn't a Doom album.
Right.
Like it's so
No, it definitely is.
Yeah. The drums insane. Like just like I don't know. Like I genuinely I'm like this is a fucking Doom album. Admit it. You like it. You know, enjoy. So that's
definitely. Yeah, I think that one came a little bit later for me. My introduction was the Razor Blade Romance, of course, but
it's so good.
Still good record.
They just him just came out with the represses. If you haven't picked them up, you can pick them up at your local vinyl store. If you're in Philadelphia, you can pick them up at Sit and Spin. And I'm doing really bad right now. Sit and Spin has them. That place on South Street that I'm gonna get roasted later for forgetting the name on it. Digital Underground might have them. Probably not because they're exclusive. I think they're exclusively metal and goth right now, and I don't know if it falls into either of those categories. Next question. What are some non-metal artists that have influenced your work or you enjoy that people wouldn't expect from you? What are people not expecting from you that you're bopping?
Hold on, let me think about this one for a second because I am legitimately a caveman.
Okay.
I feel like he's got a really good like hidden gem that he
There's one in there that we're gonna be like, what?
So are you talking? So you're talking like not rock and not metal adjacent? Like it has to be some.
No, like
oh man.
For example, like one of my friends, when he goes on long car rides, he listens to the Beauty and the Beast soundtrack. And in his car.
I'm over here listening. I love like EDM, like not EDM, but I like Charlie XCX and like the hyper pop bitches. So
Okay.
I'm like having my moment. I've been bumping, having summer.
I've been into baby metal.
I'm legitimately a caveman. Like I like stuff that's far less polished than probably most people would even care for. But if I had to choose something that was,
are you listening to like that? I'm like surprised me maybe some Midwest emo or something like.
Well, so I'm thinking that probably the band that would take people by surprise. I'm gonna lose some cult points, but I don't really care. There is a band called Armor for Sleep.
Okay.
And I think that I don't know if you ever heard of them.
Far underwater with time to kill. Thinking back, I forgot to tell you.
Yeah. So I love that album.
That
Almost the whole
album
thing.
rips.
It's very good. They're all very good musicians,
Yeah.
and I think beyond the subject matter, because I don't really care for like woe is me kind of shit too much, but I think beyond the subject matter, that album, just guitar playing, drumming, all that stuff is very, very good. So
I love that album. That album was iconic. I drove through Williamsburg. I saw King Woman, and you have to drive through Williamsburg, like on getting to Queens. So I was like, "You'll all die in Williamsburg" the whole time.
So you lost me on that one though. It was that last one. What was it called? The one you were just singing with the single on it. That it was that one. It was actually the first record. I had an old friend in high school that was really big into it. My brother was really into it, and of course, when you're young, you want to be like your brother, right? And then we would all just do nefarious shit late at night and listen to that album. So that one just sticks. Yeah,
I love that. Cleveland has spawned some legendary bands: Integrity, Midnight, and Ringworm. In what ways has your local metal scene influenced you over the years?
Influenced. That's an interesting question. I think it depends. It depends on how you dissect that. There is a lot of talent in Cleveland. A lot. I would say I am influenced by people that hustle, regardless what music it is. I think the one influence, specifically for my own music in Wild Times, would probably be Midnight. I think that they, being a huge Motorhead fan, a huge Venom fan, I mean, they're both of those bands reincarnate.
Yeah.
And then they're just doing it in they're just doing it in a much dirtier, much more punk way than kind of delivered before. And I mean, that shit just draws me in. But I do think, as far as influence, I have a hard time taking influence from Cleveland, admittedly. There are a lot of, and I don't mean this as a slight, but there's a lot of talent. There's a lot of good musicians. But they're not really careerists. They're more hobbyists. And that's not a slight, but there's not a whole lot of people that want to do it as career. So it's hard to really take influence from that, being that our mentalities are so completely different.
Yeah.
So it's kind of weird, right? Like, a lot of good bands, a lot of cool stuff to see, but hard to say definitively, yeah, that band inspired me. Other than Midnight, I mean, those guys are nice. Their band rips, and they're hustling.
Lust, Filth, and Sleaze.
Yeah,
always on the road. What city would you say? Well, say in the U.S. that you would say is the most hype as far as metal music?
Oh, another good question. I'm trying not to be biased between
what are some cities that you know that's gonna turn up when you guys hit the stage?
Obviously, I think that this kind of East Coast, Midwest, like maybe not Midwest, but like the East Coast, like the cities like Philly and even Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh's great. All of that city. Cleveland does well. Maybe not necessarily as far as turnout, but as far as just passion for the art. I would say as far as turnout, you'll probably do a lot better on the West Coast. I know when we played Vegas, there were far more people than we even expected at that show. But by and large, I think the West Coast is more supportive of art and music and the community in general, but perhaps the passion and the
craziness.
I like my East Coast people. I'm kind of a bastard myself sometimes, so it's nice to be around those same people that enjoy it as much as I do. So
I get that. I love that. Yeah. I love the Philly community. We roll. We come out.
Yeah.
mantle. When they say destroy this fucking venue, we do. And then there are no shows there again. But you've been in multiple bands across different subgenres of metal. How do you balance your creativity between all the bands?
You kind of just, honestly, you have to be insane.
Okay.
I'm insane. So Cloak is probably the band that I've played with that I'm more creatively aligned with, just based on the subject matter, the way they present, just music stylistically. And, I'm playing someone else's songs still, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we're playing a lot of stuff off of The Burning Dawn, a lot of stuff off of Black Flame Eternal, which is Season of Mist.
Yes.
That's post new releases, and I'm playing someone else's material, but they do let me run with it and kind of add my own thing. So people might catch fills or some flair in there. That's me, my identity, which is super cool. They let me do my thing. When I played with Uwada very briefly, they kind of let me do my own thing too. But again, still playing someone else's material.
Yeah.
So I think, Burial Oath is where the creative aspect comes out.
Coming in.
Yeah, especially Wild Times. Wild Times is the kind of the party and the kind of the bastard identity there. Whereas Burial Oath is the, I want this to be my thing. As a band, I started from the ground up myself. The first album was just me recording everything, and then just, found some really dedicated guys to do it with me. So that one is.
How have your fans taken to Burial Oath?
I was going to say.
Go ahead.
Burial Oath is a former project coming back full force. How did Burial Oath get cooking again? Like, how did it get?
Yeah, it's been hard with all the touring because for the past couple of years, I've been pretty much on 1 month, back at home for a month. There was a couple months in there where I was actually at home to work on it. But beyond that, Burial Oath, when we started it, was sort of meant to be this kind of cult. We'll write records and, play a show when we feel like it kind of thing. And then as I progressed into career, it was something that I wanted to take the next level. And unfortunately, there were just people in the band that couldn't do it.
Okay.
And I get it.
Yeah.
It's especially a band starting out, it's a tough life. It's very expensive. It's very costly. You're not going to make any money your first couple shows, your first couple tours, because people don't know who you are. And on top of that, people really don't support until they support, which is weird. I guess what I mean by that is, like, once you start picking up momentum, then people think that there's something that they can, be a part of. And I get it. I get why people do that. But we came back from this last Uwada tour before I went out with Cloak in Milwaukee, and I found some new guys to come in from regional areas, and they're just as passionate as I am about it, and they just want to hustle and write cool black metal tunes. And at this point, we're just trying to keep it moving, get on the road.
That's so exciting, and I'm happy that everything lined up to have this project back on the burner. It's seriously an amazing project. It is a whole lot more than just tremolo picking and blast beats. How do you balance keeping the sound fresh while also remaining true to the 90s black metal roots?
That's a really good question. I appreciate the depth. A lot of that is my guitar player. I do write some of the guitar parts still, but by and large, I let him sort of run with it. We don't ever want the band to be... We don't want to fall into the typical black metal tropes of the second wave thing. I mean, that stuff it's great, and I love it. It'll always be my favorite, but it's been there, done that, right? We're not trying to reinvent the wheel. We're not trying to be the next most original thing. I don't think originality completely exists, but our aim is to take that second wave kind of idea, add some melody, add some prettier stuff that people might not expect, but also kind of amplify the song structures and the writing, and just really focus on quality songs. And I think that's something that maybe black metal in the 90s didn't do. They kind of just
It was
through tunes.
Barbie Microphone in the Woods.
Yeah.
If it's not, if it doesn't sound like ass, it's not true cult. Like, you know, kind of energy. And I feel like a lot of bands were just trying to replicate a sound that I appreciate. I love, you know. I was 14 and loved Mayhem, you know. So I saw them at the Maryland Dust Fest this year. It was a great time. I was like, that's cool. But I love that there are so much melody in these songs. The vocals are next level. The drumming's next level. This is a project like that people are going to get on board with very, very quickly.
Thank you.
I'm just like so impressed with it. Your single Pagan Fires is a certified banger, and the lyrics video is up on YouTube for anybody who wants to see it. It's sick. I'm super excited for your remastered version of Beyond the Veils of Shadowlands, and that's coming out in September on the 13th. But will Burial Is upcoming tour be a mix of new and old? Or like, what can we expect to be hearing on the upcoming tour?
It's going to be a little bit of a mixture. We don't want to lose the past.
Yeah.
To gain something out of the future. Now, it is going to be different, right? I mean, we have a new singer that are doing songs that were designed for an old vocalist. So things might be a little bit different, but he still delivers.
Yeah.
You know, our tuning has changed since that record, so we're playing these songs in a different tuning. It's not totally crazy, but
what were you tuned to before, and what are you tuned to now? Because I'm doing mine, so it's like sounds like shit.
Yeah. No, so the first records, the EP and the first album, I think the first 3 albums we did with Burial were all standard tuning E.
Okay.
We didn't really want to deviate from. We wanted to do the real black metal thing, right? And I think that tuning still sounds cold and hard, and but all we did for the new stuff is last couple years is we took a half step down to D sharp standard.
Okay.
So again, it's not crazy, but it's just low enough to, you know, be a little bit different. It may throw some people off, but the songs still sound good.
I love that. For anybody listening, the remastered cassettes are distributed by Morbid and Miserable Records, and they'll be available September 13th. Also, speaking of tour, I'd just like to thank you for being here with us tonight, and especially with the time difference. And you must be exhausted from your tour you're currently on with Cloak. How is the tour? How were the shows?
First of all, thank you for having me. Like I said, I mean, it's no problem. I thought this would be fun anyways, and it has been. The tour's been good. It's been by and large good. The first 10 dates with Hellripper were all kind of club shows.
So
good boys. Good group of dudes there. Yeah.
I am so excited for that. Also, I have one thing to say. If you came here and did Wild Times, fucking out. Titties out. We do not have speed metal in Philadelphia. It would be titties out, dude, in the venues. People be losing their mind because we don't have like that. We have, and I love the Philly scene. I love all our black and thrash bands, but we like, come on, like
I'm trying. It's harder for a newer band.
Yeah.
And again, when Wild Times started, it was kind of the same idea. It wasn't something that I was like, I play a couple shows here and there. But as it picks up traction, there are more and more people that want to see it. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of weird. I do have to thank Cloak for that, because touring with them, people do pay attention to your other shit a lot more. But we're trying. When it makes sense, yes, we will be out there. And I'm sure Philly will be one of them. It seems to be a little bit more of a difficult city to get into for some reason without an agent. So.
Yeah. Well, we know the peoples, but yeah, it is really exciting. Like when, for example, like I feel like we don't get as much speed metal around here. So like if Midnight plays, everybody's like going fucking crazy. Like absolutely. Or like any of those bands, Hellripper, because you see the patches, but we just don't see, we don't we don't really have those bands. We have a ton of. We are a hardcore city. So now, for half of my friends are just like, this is hardcore, and I'm like, listen, we gotta be cool with it. It's our city. That's what we're known for. We're known for our hardcore scene. But
that's the craziest tour schedule. I don't think he could even like look to come to Philly. What for 6 months?
I know. I sent them all the tours you guys are doing, and they're like, "This is insane that he even has time to come."
We see a lot of tours with doing the show, and that's insanity. Even our producers like, he's performing every night.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Insane.
You guys played a festival yesterday, didn't you?
I'm sorry, one more time?
You guys played a festival yesterday, right?
Yeah, we played Brutal Assault yesterday.
How was it? Sick?
I'm never gonna be the guy to front. You know, when you work as hard as people like us do at something that you want so bad, and then you get that opportunity to do it, the feeling's incredible.
Yeah.
I'm not too cult to admit that. It's hard to describe what you feel when you get a response like that and you get those opportunities. I don't think it's never going to get old. You know, even the smaller shows we do, though, when it's packed out, it just doesn't get old when people support what you're doing.
Cloak's like gothic, like almost like a black and roll feel, has a lot of groove to it, compared to like black metal usually. Is it disorienting drumming from one band to the next in such a short period of time?
It can be. You get better at it over time. I have done session work for multiple bands, you know, just at home. So part of what I do when I get off tours, I go right back to my basement, and if I have, you know, a band or a client that wants me to play drums for them on a record, I get to that too. So you get used to it as you move through it. But yeah, I mean, it definitely takes, it's conditioning. Again, I'm not going to front and sit here and say it's easy. It's hard work. When I was the first UADA tour I did, I'd sit down in my basement and we had a 75-minute set, I think, of just blast beats, and you literally put in shifts. You know, I'm down in the basement. That is
an actual workout. 75 blast beats. Our drummer, like a couple hours, that man is covered in sweat. My biggest question when I saw you were playing with UADA is, how the hell did you play? Because smoke Allie, this band plays. Let me set the scene. Every other band, dim, dark, whatever. UADA, you are inside a fog machine. It is blasting. You can see nothing. You can't even see the band playing because the fog's so high, and they're covered completely. I'm like, not a single one of those people can see that man playing the drums. I was like, how is he doing it? How is that
impressive? That's impressive because it hurts my eyes sometimes. Like, I've almost lost like my eyelash when like the fog's coming down really hard, or when they have like really bright lights. Like, that is impressive, keeping up with that when you have like an effect coming at you.
I literally turned to my friends when I saw UADA play, and I went, Wraiths. Has to be Wraiths. Like, impossible.
I mean, so, and again, my stint with them was brief, so maybe I'm not the best person to really talk about it, but I will say that, I mean, there were several nights where, I mean, you get caught in a corner or a small show. I mean, you're breathing in that fog the whole time, so it's not easy. I think that, but that even happens with Cloak, though. I mean, it's either heat. You know, we play in leather, but I think it goes beyond a gimmick. It's not, you know, it's what the music means, what it's supposed to be, how it's supposed to be presented. So you're gonna do it, you know, either way. It's never comfortable. I don't think I've ever sat down at a show and was like, oh yeah, this is really comfortable.
Yeah.
I mean, there were several tours or several shows on this last tour with Cloak that both Scott and I had some pretty close calls with passing out mid-set, mid-performance.
And it gets hot in those venues, man, especially the smaller ones and all that leather. You guys were amazing. When I saw you perform with Cloak. It was at Milk Boy in Philly, and the openers were Philadelphia's Dead Yellow. Go check them out if you play in a black metal band and you want a good opener from Philly. I would pick Dead Yellow. They're sick. But
that band was cool. I remember them. They were cool.
Oh, sick opener. And then it was you guys from Cloak and I think, was it Ghostbath the headliner?
Yeah.
Ghostbath. Guys, so I met Dennis shout out Dennis. I saw shout out Denny.
Cool dude.
I was trying to remember because I met him at the Harikari for the Sky tour.
Yeah.
Place I wasn't trying to get that mixed, but I met you guys there. It was an amazing show. Cloak blew me away. That was my first time seeing you guys, and it was just like I was having that moment where you're like, I'm feeling the music, man.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Your merch is also that. One of my biggest regrets is going to that show and not. I was so broke, and I was like, I wanted a shirt so bad, and I was like, we have to be financially responsible. We have to be financially responsible. So I was that night. I regret it. I should have been a mad spender.
What shirt did you want to get? Jesse? Because I know you already have one in your mind that you would have got.
It was
now you're on the spot.
Yeah, it was I think it was a long sleeve. So the art on all the merch, Burial Oath included with Cloak, is incredible. I don't know who the hell is doing it, but it's seriously sick. The tour posters are sick. Your European tour poster was sick. Just like the Burial Oath tour poster sick. The art is never like something we have to question with bands you're in. It's 10 out of 10 every time.
Thank you.
Insane. But
yeah, that's I mean, Cloak is pretty much all Scott. He's got a vision for it. Burial Oath, I do a lot of it. I think we actually talked about it. We think it's kind of funny that even me coming into the band so late with Cloak and playing with them for a short period of time, how we sort of got lucky because a lot of our visions do align. So it's you rarely ever have that in a band. So it's been pretty cool. Whenever I have an idea for Burial Oath, even I'll text Scott and be like, "Hey, is this cool?"
Kind of just bounce ideas off of.
Yeah. So
peers.
So he's been helpful in that too.
That's so healthy. I love that. I also just want to congratulate you on Cloak signing to Metal Blade. We love Metal Blade Records. Do you guys have big things coming, or are we just going to wait to find out? I know you have a tour, like a fall tour, with like a shit ton of cities for Cloak coming up.
Yeah. So, well, they do have a lot on the schedule. Because I'm touring with Burial Oath and they have another drummer, he'll be on a lot of the stuff tail end of the year here. Great guy, great drummer. Excited to see him get in the fold finally. I can't really speak to that. I know Scott is writing more music, and I've heard some demos, and they sound really cool. And I'm really excited. What I will say is I know the Deicide tour is coming up, and then it's 2 months on the road for them. It's Deicide, and then they're right back out in Europe with the same tour package, Uada, Ghostbath, Cloak, in October. So, but that's when I'll be on tour with Burial Oath. So
that's awesome. Like there's so many good tours going on. I feel like there's a little bit. I know it's hard to tour in the summer. I'm sure you know better than us, but so in Philly we didn't get a ton of really good lineups. We got a lot of local shows. We got a lot of Horrendous. We got a lot of Crypt Sermon this summer, and things like that around. And they were great shows. I love a home show. Philly comes out, so I'm really excited this fall to really see a lot of bands come. We have. Now that it's cooling down, we have Undergang coming, and I'm so excited for that. And then my birthday show, which is also just a bunch of Philly bands, so I'm ripping the Horrendous tonight.
Nice.
So, but I I did want to talk about Wild Times. I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about it, because I am obsessed with that project. Like I
Thank
show
you.
it to everybody, and
Thank you so much.
Scripts.
Thank you so much. Sure. I mean, well, what do you want to know? I mean, it's
like just like one of the questions I wanted to know is, do you write all the instruments? And if you like, since it's like your personal, it's your baby, do you write all the instruments, and if you do you start with like a certain one?
yeah, I do. Everything, top to bottom. I write the songs. Even in the studio, I play the drums, I do the bass, I do the guitars, I write the lyrics, I do the vocals, I do it all. When I started the project, it was more of like it started in like 2019, and there's probably some long lost demos out there floating around somewhere. I actually did a cover of Death Comes Ripping by Misfits, and it's out there somewhere. I don't know where it
Ollie's
is, but
favorite band.
yeah, well, one of mine. So it's definitely, it was like a COVID project essentially. So 2019 came. At that point, I still had like a full-time job.
projects.
I had a lot of
Yeah.
projects.
Yeah.
So many good things came out of them.
Yeah.
A lot of good stuff. Yeah, well, it killed a lot of bands too, unfortunately. But yeah, 2019. Yeah. But yeah, picked up a guitar, started writing stuff, and I'm glad people like it, because it's more of less an extension of things that I can't get out through Barry Loth or through other bands.
Yeah.
I did grow up on a lot of 80s glam metal and just American heavy metal, Wasp, all the Motorhead, all those bands, right? So I needed a way to kind of do, my own thing, and to put that into a metal, kind of a metal spectrum with incorporating that stuff. And that's kind of what came out. So I'm glad people like it. It was always more or less just intended for, if someone hears that record, it's all right, well, that's this dude. So that's who he is.
It's very like, it's like all things good. I'm like, it makes you want to ride a motorcycle into like,
yeah, that's the idea.
yeah, it gives that. Like, I want to go to the biker picnic and listen to it. Like, that's the vibe.
I mean, it's biker, and that's kind of was the idea behind it. It was supposed to be kind of satanic biker music for punks. Yeah, I'm a huge rider too, so I even wrote a song about riding on the last full length. So
album art is just like fucking vibes. It was like, this is sick. Like,
yep.
So good. Speed metal demands a lot of high energy and precision at the same time. When you play this kind of music, you have to like practice more to like get that precision down.
I think they both have their own. I think both black metal, like what I do in Cloak, it's kind of like a mental, physical thing for me. And because I'm doing two different instruments in both bands, so like Wild Times, it's a lot. The music's not inherently difficult. If someone picked up a guitar and just kind of ripped through it, they'd be, oh, this isn't anything. But doing the vocals, it took me a long time to learn. Again, I'm not going to sit here and pretend I'm something I'm not. It was when we got the full live lineup together, it took us. We had discussions. There's several discussions of, I don't know if I can, sing and play this live at the same time.
Yeah.
But we would, we just keep going. You're putting in shifts. You're doing the work. And then it becomes muscle memory. So I think for Wild Times, it's more of a mental game for me of focusing on what I need to do with my hands and what I need to do up here. And a lot of times those deliveries are two totally different things, and they're on two totally different beats. So it's really difficult to kind of practice that. Whereas Cloak is definitely or Barry Loth, or anything I do on the drums is certainly more of a physical demand. So
I know there are certain instruments that are easier to sing while you're playing. Like, I think guitar is easier. People say bass, like that's part of the reason Peter Steele was so impressive, because it's really hard to sing and play bass. I don't know how true that is. I just listen to what people tell me, so I'm like taking it with a grain of salt. So it always impresses me when I see people playing bass and singing, or people playing drums and singing, like bands like Jarhead Fertilizer, or when you
Exciter.
Yes, like those bands where the drummers do the vocals too, because I'm just like, I can't imagine how hard that is to do that.
Difficult. Yeah, but again, it's just practice, I think. I think you mentioned Peter Steele. I think what made him impressive is he didn't play the bass like a bass. He played it like a guitar. Full chords. So if you watch him play live, he's not just hitting one note at a time. He's hitting multiple. And it's a very kind of Lemmy thing, just like Lemmy from Motorhead played it like a guitar. So, which makes it far more impressive.
Yeah, what an absolute legend Lemmy is, and just like an inspiration for Motorhead, was such an inspiration for punk metal, and it really just bridged everything. So many bands I see, they're like, we got to play loud as hell, and it always makes me think of Motorhead played like at the decibel of a plane taking off. Like,
I don't know the real story, but the running story is they sound check, and then after they sound check, they just go back and turn everything all the way up. So I don't know how accurate that is, but because
we don't know the true story, but we know that you were going to have tinnitus after you left that show.
100%. Yeah,
absolutely.
I gotta ask, what out of I'll leave this open to all the bands. What's your favorite song currently to play live?
And it's like it's all of them. Ooh.
Yeah.
Or
you can give one for each. We can keep it fair.
Yeah, I think there's a couple in there. Because they all hit different. They all hit me differently. So I think Wild Times is Lust and Leather. Really like that one. Just the content's really cool. Thank you. The content's really cool. It's a lot of fun. It's not too demanding, but just the subject matter. I mean, I love it. It's just about lust and demons and all kinds of stuff. It's exactly what it's supposed to be. So that one's fun, and the energy from a crowd is typically really good with that one. Burialoth is fun. Well, so Burialoth is a little bit more physically demanding than Cloak. Burialoth, we use click tracks, we use triggers, we have all these different things we have to do. So I'm not saying it's not fun, but for that project, it's more of a job. If I got to get this done because it's a lot more physically demanding, so it's a lot more focus. But I do think the single Pagan Fires is probably one of my favorite things that I've written, and one of my favorite things to play live with them. And with Cloak, it's the Holy Dark, one of the singles that came off of Black Flame Eternal. Just the energy in that one. It's not a super difficult song, but it's got some crusty parts, and it's just real dark, and the energy from the crowd is just absolutely insane when we play it. So
that Burialoth single Pagan Fires is so good.
Thank you.
I seriously could not stop listening to it, and then I was like going around with the video and be like, you need to listen to this to like everybody I came in contact with, and they were like,
thank you so much.
They were like, oh man, like, oh, were you gonna turn on some like black metal? And then they were like, oh, this rips. I'm like, I'm no Orby microphone. Like, I was like, it's good, and they're like, yes,
quality production. Yeah, we're getting compared a lot to Gorgoroth, modern day Gorgoroth.
What a compliment.
I'm not mad about it.
That's a good one. I'd be happy with that.
Yeah, very excited about that comparison. So,
how did you go about doing the lyrics video? Because the lyrics video is like, it's not just the letters on the thing. It is a whole like incense burning, like human skull. Like, I was like, this is vibes.
Yeah. Well, so I do think it's important to note that everything that Burialoth is doing right now, other than the recording, but like the music videos, we have one slated to come out this September before the tour. We're doing that all ourselves, and that's because so I shoot and I film and I edit everything, and I do that for a reason. Burialoth. I mean, I have the tattoo on my arm of the rune. Burialoth is something that is certainly more of a spiritual thing for me, in a lot of ways. So it's really important that the imagery and what we're doing complements that. And I know it's spiritual in a lot of ways for the other guys too. I know our singers, you know, same idea. So it's real to us. What we're doing is real, and we want that to be reflected in any visualizer, any poster, anything that we put out. It's got to be an extension of what it means to us.
Yeah, there's an extra level of like thoughtfulness and meaningfulness really packed into that. So it's more than just the visuals, it's the feeling behind it.
Right.
That's amazing. And I just think that adds even more depth. Hearing you say that just adds it's just so much more depth to it. What is next for you as an artist? Like, you have achieved so much in your music career. Do you have any goals you haven't achieved yet that you're aiming to achieve?
Yeah, of course. I have learned that, I mean, even playing, you know, we play Party Sound, we play Brutal Assault the last 2 days. You know, I'm ready to go home. I'm ready to see my family, ready to, you know, take some time off. But at the same time, I don't think, I would say for people like us, you know, the career it's never enough. It's always bigger. It's always better. It's, you know, I have some things lined up that I'm not sure I can speak on it. I can't really speak on it at the moment. I know that sounds so corny because everyone says that. I mean, I can't talk about it.
Yes.
But I just don't know what I can and can't say at the moment. So there are things in the pipeline that I'm working on that will, you know, maybe get me back on the road beyond Burial Oath. But Burial Oath has the tour coming up this October. We're working on another Midwest kind of East Coast run for March with the band Throne.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, friends of ours. So that'll be fun. And then I think summertime if all goes according to plan, I may end up back over here doing something. So we'll see what happens.
That's exciting. Are there any artists that you'd like to collaborate with in the future, do like a feature with or something like that?
I want to play drums for everyone.
I know.
That's kind of my goal. Is I don't know. I'm such a person that has so many different interests, and I just want to be able to explore all of those things and scratch every itch that I have in metal. So if I could play for everyone in the world, that'd be sweet, you know?
I love that. You know, so many good bands, and you're such a diverse artist that like you can like really play for anybody. Have you ever played for a band that is so like off, like you're like, I don't know how I got here moment?
What do you mean by that?
Like so off genre? Like, have you ever like ended up like drumming for like pop?
Like you made a mistake booking it.
No.
Like, are you like been like, oh yeah, I drummed for Bright Eyes, like or something like that?
Is he sitting there sweating?
No. No. Every move that I have made, at the risk of sounding conceited, I have had opportunities I have had opportunities to play in other bands that are outside this genre. Maybe they're, you know, that moshcore shit or the deathcore stuff, and I may be shooting myself in my own foot as far as being a careerist, but there's got to be integrity behind a choice that I make in a band that I choose to play with.
I completely agree with that. That's like part of the reason I stay very much like, and I'm not afraid to admit what I don't like, but I'll never subject myself or like pigeonhole myself for opportunities to fuck with shit I don't like, because then I feel like I'm not being true to myself. And I feel like you have to remain true to yourself and the things that you like, because then if you start dipping into stuff you don't like, and then you're out, but like, yeah, I don't like that shit. You're now you as a person are being like, you kind of showing that colors that you don't care as much, you know? And
absolutely.
Are there any other genres that you would ever be curious to combine with metal?
I don't know. I haven't really thought too much about
there's
that.
so many, like they're doing it with there's like a death line dance. They're crossing it all over the place.
To be honest, I hate it.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm
shit.
not.
Like I was the first person to say I don't like the Sleep Token genre mixing. I think if you wanted good genre mixing, you'd listen to Horrendous. They killed it. Like if I want the proggy stuff, I want it like
I
I'm
know
not
3
so
people
bad.
right now that are shaking their heads at you, Jesse, because you just like
Oh, I
said
know
something.
people.
Sleep Token.
I will be the first of. I will say this into the camera. I don't like Sleep Token. I don't. Like I'm not
I'll
trying to
support
like.
you on that either. I don't care about that band at
I
all.
don't fucking care about it. I think the alien shit's weird, and like I like aliens as part of it. I don't like that their shows are called
I'm gonna
rituals.
keep my mouth shut so we keep the following that like Sleep Token.
Okay, that's
Hey,
fine.
okay. I'll say some positive things about Sleep Token. We'll counter this.
We'll counter
Their
it.
drummer is very, very good at what he does. I've seen his playthroughs. As much as I don't like the music, I can tell you that guy, he's the real deal.
Yeah.
He's very good. So
Yeah. You know, you're valid for liking it. I just like
sure.
I'm
She's
playing.
like, yeah, I don't.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think that's music is subjective. I mean, I'm sure I
I'm
listen to some
sure-
shit that people hate.
I listen to tons of. I love
Yeah.
music that sounds like toilets, and I'm the
Yeah.
first person to be like, nobody has to like this, but I'm not gonna give you shit for not liking it.
No, yeah. I mean, you can people can give me shit for liking my stuff. It just doesn't. I don't take it as personally. I guess I don't know.
I get it entirely. Are there any genres of music that you're interested in exploring in the future? Can we expect like a Doom project, like any types, like other styles of metal? No.
Probably not. A Doom. So I
You're not
don't
taking it
like.
all the way down. You're not doing the slow BPM.
No, I don't like stoner culture really. I think it's kind of lazy. And I'll probably get shit for that too. But
I'll give you shit for that.
it's
I'm like if when the Uncle Acid comes on, I'm vibing. I love
sure.
that. Yeah.
And there's some bands that I like Cough. I like Cough a lot.
Cough.
Like they're cool. There are bands I like, but I couldn't see myself sitting behind a drum set playing the most in pocket thing for 30 minutes and enjoying it at all. So
I think
again,
it's valid.
it goes back to the creativity thing. Choosing what you do carefully, and I'm not saying maybe I'll change my mind if a pop band wants to throw me $100,000 salary to go play with them, and maybe you'll catch me playing for Bright Eyes or whatever. But until that happens, until they back a tour bus up into my driveway, I'm
A knock on your door.
sticking with what I like. Yeah.
I get it entirely. Do you have any music recommendations for our viewers, and what's in rotation for you right now?
I'm sorry, one more time. So you said music recommendations, and then what?
Like, what's in your rotation right now? What are you listening to?
Ooh, well, music recommendations. I got to give a good one, right? I said I listen to caveman stuff.
You can grab your and look at
I feel
your
like no one's gonna
playlist.
like it, but then maybe that's the charm to it. There's a band that I always come back to, Fragium.
Okay, I'm gonna have to check them out.
Yeah, it's a couple of dudes from Blasphemy, and I think maybe some dudes from Black Witchery. It's that very caveman kind of really dark, satanic.
How do you say that?
Fragium. It's odd. I'll be honest with you. I don't even know what it means, but the music sounds cool.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's my
We're
poser showing, but
That's
that band's cool.
just
in my rotation.
cool.
Rotation.
That name is just cool.
Yeah, the names. See, I like all that stuff. I like Blasphemy, Revenge. Like if it's not gonna be speed metal or dissection, essentially, it's got to be that.
Action, absolute rippers. Just so good. Such a classic band. Anything with a vampiric pentagram on it is also like I'm like put that on every back of all your shirts all the time. I love it. Right. So good.
Yeah, also, I would say a band that's has been in my rotation as of late, which I think is a perfect example of where black metal needs to go, is Spectral Wound. I'm wearing their shirt right now, actually. I think. Yeah, I am.
Spectral Wound is such a good band. They played Maryland Fest, and
yeah,
so good.
They are putting on a clinic right now as to how to do modern black metal and keep it vicious and keep it real. And I think a lot of these, kind of astrology style shit bands should take kind of note of what they're doing. And there's nothing wrong with that kind of stuff, but I don't know, that's sort of like an energy to that stuff that I don't really get into too much.
Single blew me away.
It was so good.
It was so good. I was just like, I was doing this after. I was like, again. I was doing again. Yeah. Play it again.
Yep. It's very good. It's very good.
So Ali is amazing.
I love songs that make you feel like that, where you're just like, what did I just listen to? I have to listen to it again.
Yeah, you have to keep hearing it over and over. Yeah, I do that with a lot of music a lot, so I don't know. I love all kinds of music, so maybe that's just me. But yeah, Special Wound is one. I saw them live on the 1349 tour before coming out here, and they were it was incredible. It was incredible. So
we go down the rabbit hole of the suggested songs. I end up going down that whole rabbit hole of the suggested songs that go around. So not only do I look at like the song that is suggested, but I also look at all the songs that are like around it. So
you'll probably find a lot of good stuff connected to that too. So
the suggested artist on Spotify is like my favorite all time. Like I will just put on like whatever radio and then find like amazing artists like that. Spectral Wound and Spectral Voice played MDF this year, and that was really cool, and it was a great time. Weekend Nachos played. Just like so many good. Poon Tickler played. There were inflatables. So I would love to see you at MDF one year in one of your bands. That would be amazing.
It surely would. I don't know how to get on those fests. I'm surprised Cloak hasn't done it. Maybe we're a little too pretty or too polished for it. Maybe I don't know. I don't think we are, but
I don't. Outcast played this year, but they did fill in for Dragged in the Sunlight because Dragged in the Sunlight dropped this year. They're a great band.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we're just not. Maybe Cloak's not the right thing for. I don't know. Maybe they are. But maybe Burial Oath isn't either. I mean, there's definitely a polish to those bands that I think might be.
The Michigan Metal Fest is coming up on the 24th.
Michigan Metal Fest. Which one is that?
It's another big festival. Yeah, we're gonna be running through the crowd.
Oh, nice. That'll be cool.
Yeah. So I'm like, I'm super happy to have you on. You're one of my favorite people to talk to. So
thanks.
I really appreciate you making time with your busy schedule to come on.
Yeah, no problem.
In general. So I'm out of questions. So thanks for coming on.
No, thanks for having me. Like I said, I get to sit in the Olympic Hotel.
Oh,
in the Czech Republic all night until I fly home tomorrow. So no, this was great. I appreciate you both having me on, and thank you for the in-depth questions and all the kind words. I appreciate it.
I burned the midnight oil on some of those, so
I could see it. I could see it. It's good. You're another hustler.
I'm before anything else a hustler. Music and music journalism is my passion, and I am lucky to have friends like you. I'm so happy to have met you on that tour, and you're such a genuine person and such a good friend. You've always been a good friend to me.
Oh, thanks.
Even when I'm like, does this sound stupid? You'll be like, no, you're very like, it's okay. So I'm just happy that I am part of a community, and this includes our listeners filled with good, genuine people that are just like amazing. And if you haven't read Burial Oath's article, it is in speaking of Philadelphia, it is published in Decibels magazine. I don't know what issue it is. You might know better than me, but I saw that on your Instagram.
You probably know, but I don't.
Yeah, I don't know, but like do some Googling, you'll find it.
And definitely keep us updated on when you're coming back to Philly, because
yes,
I will. I don't. Again, it's. You mentioned the lack of shows up there, and I really do think my other bands don't have representation. We try to do everything as much as we can by ourselves. Yeah. And for whatever reason, it seems like if you don't have representation or someone that's kind of pulling the strings, that it's kind of hard to get into. So.
Well, I definitely might be able to help a little bit with that because I know
Cool.
a couple of people. But we'll definitely get you back here. And we'll definitely get you back here, definitely in one of the venues. Maybe also, I just also want to say the Antichrist opening for Antichrist Siege Machine.
Good guys.
I was like,
so that was all Tyler. When we put that show together for the tour, we had some ideas about certain bands that we wanted to either headline or bring more people, because Beerlith is still small. I mean, we do well in Pittsburgh because we've played there several times, but Tyler at Eternal Flyer Promotions, great dude, another music lover. He's like, hey, what if we get Antichrist Siege Machine to come up here? And sure enough, they are. So
they're like a bucket list band for me. I've never seen them like foaming at the mouth. I've never
sounds like you'll have to make a drive.
Dude, that would be a trip. I've really burnt through my bucket list.
If you ever want to play a really awesome venue, Love Drafts, have them get in touch with Nick Myers.
That's a little. It's a little like It's more like halfway. I know you guys are playing
in between Philly and Pittsburgh. Yeah. It's in between.
It's in between.
Yeah.
Definitely. At least Kung Fu Necktie Dave Kiss is the person to email for that.
Yeah. We tried reaching out to him, but we didn't have a date available. Which is okay. I know. Again, it's the tough part about music is some of the smaller guys get sidelined for some of the bigger guys, and I understand that. It's fine. So
I understand. Yeah. And then you get sometimes you get a little shafted to like a Thursday, like it's my really old Gosha hat from but I sold them on Thursday, and they were amazing. It was with Mulder, and it was really good turnout for a Thursday, and I appreciate that everybody comes out.
I swear you can make any hat look cool.
I love hats.
Last week she wore a Burger King hat, Burger King crown, and made it look
like a crown,
cool.
like a paper crown, like from the kids' meals.
Yeah, I didn't have time to eat before I came, so got on podcast. So I went to Burger King. I eviscerated the long chicken sandwich. Eviscerated. It was like a crime. I was disgusted with myself after I did it, and then I came home with Burger King memorabilia and was like, "This is Burger King week." I got
Isn't it funny how ashamed you get after you eat that stuff?
Oh yeah, I was ashamed.
You're not ashamed, Jesse. You went into detail. You're like, I ripped it up.
I fucked it up, man.
No, trust me. The food in Europe is not as plentiful as it is in the United States.
Yeah.
So a lot of the time,
portion this big.
Well, it's not necessarily the portions. It's just you get a lot of rice and a lot of.
Okay.
That's and it's fine.
Yeah.
But when you're driving down the highway, the culture is different. You can't pull off and there's 10 things to eat off the side of a highway. It just doesn't exist. You stop at a gas station and there's a McDonald's attached to it, or Burger King attached to it. So we ate a lot of McDonald's on this trip, and we're very ashamed of it.
I get it entirely. That was also, I fuck with McDonald's. That's all I gotta say. I get the 20-piece with the fry, and then I get the Sprite because the Sprite be hitting different at McDonald's. It tastes like TV static. I love it.
Oh. TV static. You should have told people you went to Burger King just for the crown. That would have been cool.
I definitely could have. I definitely could have. I walked around with it for
25%. 25% of it was the crown.
25% of it was the crown. I also just really wanted Burger King because I hadn't been there in a while. And I'm protesting the Wawa right now because the Philly Wawas have been and this will get me shit too. They haven't been hitting right. I wait there for too long. They make my hoagie.
Oh, I don't agree. I do not agree.
Yeah, I know. The suburban Wawas are better than the ones in Philly because the Philly ones are so like when you're in the city, the poor people are so overworked.
As long as they have that blueberry pomegranate milkshake, I am totally good. I don't even care. I stopped last night. We stopped at a Philly Wawa. They did okay. They did fine. It was my milkshake was on point.
They did fine. They did fine.
I don't know about the pizza. I don't know about getting a pizza. Like,
I was trying to figure out what show I was. Okay, so on Halloween I saw Fulci. Also, here's my whatever. Here's my other plug. New York. What is it? The New York Stabber or whatever. It's like based off the new Fulci album. What's it called? I'm doing really bad. I'm doing horrible music journalism right now. Listen to the new Fulci album. It has like, listen to the new Fulci album. It's good. It's good. I like it.
But you gotta say it again one more time. It's
like
album?
The Fulci album. It's Fulci, the Italian fuck
I don't think I've ever heard of this.
I'm gonna pull them up on my phone.
I don't think I've ever heard of this band.
Oh, you don't know Fulci? Oh, so good. Oh, Duck Face Killings. It's all based on Fulci, like the Italian horror movie director who did all those old movies. This one's about a guy who talks like Donald Duck and kills women. It's a good movie. But this band is horror movie themed. They're great. They're from Italy. They played Philly last year for Halloween. So I went on Halloween, did the I was like, woo,
that was probably cool.
It was amazing. Yeah. My only thing is I didn't have a drummer, but now they have a drummer, so now it's gonna be really good. But I did full vampire, like corpse paint, did the whole things, and then I left the show in the middle of it to go get some Wawa. I'm looking at myself in the reflection of the Wawa glass, and I go, I look stupid as hell right now. The security guard, I said that to myself. I was like, I look stupid as hell right now, because now that I'm not at the show, I'm just like in public. I'm wearing a cape with a whatever, like with the whatever. Getting in the Uber when I look like that. If Devil Master plays, I'll like do the whole thing because we love John. Shout out John. He's been on the show. I'll do the whole vampire thing. And I'll get in the Uber to go to the show, and then the Uber driver is just like quiet the whole drive. But the guy in Wawa at the Fulci, when I left the Fulci show, just started hysterically laughing.
Hell yeah.
He was like, and I was
like, beer works at Wawa.
I know. Yeah, I was like, I stupid as hell, and he just started hysterically laughing.
Listen, I've come to the realization that anybody that can work at Wawa and deal with that alarm going on, like, you have to be a strong human being to get through that. That goes off like every 2 seconds. And the people across, they're like immune to it. They don't even hear it anymore. I'm sitting there.
I feel like you got to be a strong person to just work at the Wawa. But, hey,
you do.
Each your own. No judgment.
It's OG Fest right now. It's for real. Like, the struggle is real. There's like 50 orders coming in. Like, they're just like.
I see the billboard and it's like $5 hoagies, like on the, like when you're driving down 95 and you're like, ooh, and then you have that moment and you're like, that's so cheap. Maybe I should.
I was loving it. They have a whole soundtrack. They have a whole soundtrack to hoagie.
And then they make them wear like tie-dye. They make the Wawa employees have to wear like tie-dye shirts, and it's like Hoagie Fest. It's real tropical, and then they're just like making them. Like,
and they didn't discriminate with different genres because they had all different genres on the soundtrack.
All the hoagies are $5.
Like, I'm like listening to the song. I'm like, okay, like this. Hoagie Fest. I'm like, oh shit.
Hamburger Helper has an album. That's like my favorite. Like one of my favorite things to tell people. It's called like the Hamburger Helper mixtape, and Hamburger Helper, like the company, released it.
I think I heard of that one before. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like one of my favorites. It actually slaps to the point where I turn it on in the car and people are like, "This is really good. Who is this?" And I'm like, Hamburger Helper.
Well, did you hear the Liquid Death metal album? Liquid
Yes,
Death. Yeah, that was pretty good.
that's really good.
Pretty funny.
I actually love Liquid Death. Like, I love the company, like the company itself. They have a mural in Philly. It's in Fishtown. It's in Fishtown or Port Richmond. And it's like a giant Liquid Death mural, and it slaps.
Oh yeah.
The mango chainsaw, I feel like me doing this with my hands is really gross. The mango chainsaw, like I just like showing everybody that my fingers made of rubber. Mango chainsaw, the iced tea flavor one's really good. I love like anything.
Well, you say you like I like the mango chainsaw too.
It's a good one. I love that they have them available at most shows for people who aren't drinking and stuff like that. And there's actual like more options besides just like you want Coke or you want tap water. Like that's it.
Yeah.
So I just like love like accessible options.
It's really weird because I do the same thing with my fingers that you do. And like people make comments about it on TikTok. They'll be like, "What's wrong with your fingers?" And I'm like, "What do you mean? Like I'm just doing my thing. Like what?"
We're just weird. Like me and you are
counting on my fingers, man.
Whenever I like, I'll like do a quick thumbs up, and I won't be like, and I'll bend it back. That's natural.
I mean, that's pretty severe.
Yeah,
yeah.
You got.
People are like, "What's wrong with your thumb?"
Damn, I feel like I gotta try to do that.
I know, I gotta try. I was like, that's called Nick's thumb alley. It's cool. I like that. You know, I'm down with that. I love that for you.
My weird thumbs.
Yeah, I like that.
It feels weird to me. Like I can't. Like mine just want to go all the way back. Like they want to dive.
You gotta put that curve in it, make it weird.
Weird, yeah.
Curve it forward.
Oh, look, I got the thumbs up. But I love, you know, I love all your quirks and your thumbs that bend weirdly back. You know, I don't get like compliments like that. I just get, is it real with my nose ring or does it go all the way through? And I'm like, do you think it doesn't? Like, I get cool fangs, or is it real? And I'm just like, nah, yeah. I mean,
I can imagine the festive messages that you get about your nose ring. About like people will be, yeah, because even like viewers of the show, like I'll be talking to them and they're like, your co-host has a really big nose ring, and I'm like, really? I don't notice every week.
Most people, like, I actually was in the car with my friends on when we went and saw Gosha. It was on it was actually on my side of the city, but I went with some people from the other side of the city. So we're in the car, and everybody in the car was just like, I don't like when she takes it out. And I'm like, what? And they're like, yeah, we don't like it. It bothers us. And I'm always like, why? And they're like, yeah, because they're like, yeah, like I understand, like people say like, oh, like, wow, it's a really big nose ring, but we're so used to seeing it because we've had the thing for a decade, Jess. Like when you take it out, it's like, who the fuck is she? And I was like, oh,
I'm still surprised people care that much whether or not you wear one or not.
I always say everybody looks you know the meme that's just like, ha, you'll never find another girl like me. I'm like, oh, there's 800 of them. Go on the Instagram explore page. You will find 100 girls with their stretched septums and heavily tattooed. So we're not cooking.
I tell you that it's too big because I was like, you know, if you say that, she'll just up the gauge.
I did, yeah. I think I'm finally. I've had the thing for so long. I don't think I'm gonna go up anymore. I went up once or twice in the last 10 years. And it was really because I couldn't afford a tattoo and I was having a hard day. So I was like, I do have $80 though. So you can pop that sucker in.
I'm too much of a baby, so if that helps you, I just can't. Yeah. I always wanted my nose pierced, but I couldn't. Just like, I'm a baby. And then you get older and you're just like, I just want to buy guitars.
Do you have like the all of my friends, like so many of my friends, I have like the closet that you open up and it's just like, why do you have this many BC riches? And then it turns into like an auto trader, like they're online being like,
yeah,
hello, I am trying to trade this BC rich for this one that looks even more like a flying V than this one.
That's scarily accurate as to how it goes, pretty much. Yeah, it's a lot of Yeah, it's a lot of Facebook backdoor dealings with guitars and stuff. But no, I used to have a lot more. I only have a couple now, down to a couple.
Then do a
Uh,
couple.
yeah, but I
Yes,
do
well,
have.
actually, that's something that we should ask. If someone's trying to book you for a show or trying to get a hold of you, what's the best way for them to get a hold of you?
For me personally, like if you're talking to Barry Loth or Wild Times, I do most of the booking myself because I'm not with an agent. So just through my Instagram, the JV Green Instagram,
Okay.
um, or the Barry Loth or Wild Times Instagrams. I mean, we don't keep it up here. We like to keep it, we'll keep it real.
Accessible so you can actually talk to
Yeah,
people versus
yeah. As far as
going.
Cloak does have representation, so that stuff goes through Continental Touring. So
But burial oath, they should just flood your
yeah,
Yeah.
hit me up.
DMs.
Send me a message. Let's chat. Let's have some fun.
Yeah,
I mean,
you might have an hour or two every like couple weeks.
yeah.
Yeah.
Get back to the people. Also, I love the
No, I have
the
plenty of
bathroom.
time. Trust me. There's a part of tour where you're just sitting in a van all day looking at your phone. So
What's the first thing you're gonna do when you get home from tour?
eat spicy food.
There's no spicy food in Europe.
No, which is something I didn't really anticipate. I went to a burrito. I was really missing. So the food is very bland, and some of it is really good. Some of
Yeah.
it is not. Um, a lot of it's like deli meats and shit, like every show, and it's kind of odd. They like leave it out all day, and we're all like, oh, I don't know about that, but
That sounds
um,
disgusting.
yeah, I'm not trying to get food
Well,
poisoning, but I guess that's just a thing here.
yeah.
But yeah, I think I went to a burrito joint when we had a couple days off in Leipzig, and I went to a burrito joint out there with our driver, and the girl comes over. She's like, "Oh, these are the spicy sauce. It's really spicy," and it kind of just tasted like slightly spicy ketchup. It was odd.
Oh
So
yeah, I would be having a hard time. I like things really
ready to eat
spicy.
spicy food. Yeah. Well, so another thing I didn't expect, we did not anticipate one of the challenges being that there's no air conditioning anywhere over here.
I heard that. There's no.
Nowhere.
Yeah.
No
I was just
venues. I
watching
mean, venues
Emily
are
in
rare.
Paris.
Yeah, venues are rare. So no, like most of the venues didn't have it unless they were like bigger corporate venues.
That's
Uh,
insane.
Rarely, I think we had 2 hotels this whole time that had AC. The rest of them were not.
The
So
hotels?
yeah, so you can't get away, and we're in the middle. It's in the middle of a heat wave out here. I guess it's the hottest it's ever been. So we're all just like kind of being a bunch of babies. We actually had to go to the store and buy like uh, room fans and like air
Oh
coolers and shit.
God, dude.
Yeah.
I got 3 ACs bumping.
Order
Yeah.
one of those personal air conditioners. I used one
Oh,
yesterday.
yeah.
It was death out yesterday. Well,
Yeah.
I'm being
Again,
dramatic.
so
It wasn't really
we
death
found these little
compared to some
we had
other
these like little
places.
like box cooler things. Like they were like tiny. You fill them
Yeah.
full of water and they blow cool air. But again, it's not like the States where it's like, oh, I'm gonna go find a Walmart or like a Target and just get something that'll help. It just doesn't really exist. It doesn't really have. I mean, they have hardware stores and stuff, but it's not like plentiful like the States is. So it's a
Yeah.
lot harder to like find stuff.
You can drag
Think
an
about the
AC unit.
convenience stores in the McDonald's.
Hmm?
They could have little convenience stores in the front of the McDonald's, like with the fans in it. Just
Yeah.
if you need
They
something
might,
quick.
yeah, they might. I don't think I've seen that either, though. I don't know. It could just be the areas that we're in, but we were in some nicer areas. Um, like even in Germany, like it was very odd not being able to like walk out of the venue and
Yeah.
just walk 2 minutes down the road and not get something to eat or be able to hit a store.
Are there
So
any key differences between the venues in Europe versus the venues in America? Because I've honestly I've never left this country, so I've never
you
left this
should.
country. I don't know what y'all got going on in
You
other
should.
places.
The architecture is incredible. They
Mhm.
preserve their history, they preserve their buildings, everything here, like even the churches. I mean, everything is just beautiful,
Mhm.
top to bottom. The buildings, it's kind of breathtaking when you first get here and you see all the buildings. You're like, whoa.
Yeah.
Um, Key differences: none of them have air conditioning, as we talked about,
Yeah.
and I would say the venues are definitely nicer. So a lot of the venues out in Europe, a lot of the staff, they get like their governments recognize it as like a legitimate business or a legitimate, so they get like grants and stuff from their government.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. So it's like to stay open or to staff. A lot of bands even get that too. So like a band from Sweden might get X amount of dollars from their government to kickstart a band. So the venues are nicer, they're cleaner. Um, the sound people and the staff are far more helpful. And it's not a slight to the U.S. We've had some
Yeah.
good stuff over there, but you know, a lot of times you walk into a U.S. venue and you get a really angry sound guy, and no one kind of wants to do anything for you. But over here, they'll bend over
That's been
backwards.
happening a lot lately.
The
I've been to
sound.
like 3 shows over the last couple months where like it was either like a brand new sound guy that was like completely just not cutting it, or they were just kind of grumpy throughout the whole thing.
I would assume, and this is just an
Agreed.
assumption because I didn't really talk to a lot of them. I would assume that that might come from like the government money thing. I would assume that the venues can probably afford to pay a good sound guy to stick around, and it's more of a career out here than it might be in the States. That's again, that might just be me taking a shot in the dark, but that's kind of what it just felt like.
There are certain venues that you go to here that you kind of almost expect the sound to be horrible, and so you know it's not the band, it's just the venue. Until like the headliner comes on, and they usually bring all their own stuff, and then it sounds amazing, and they bring their own, like audio technician or something like that. Also, a lot of the sound guys that I know have like it is their secondary job, like they're numbering or doing something during the day, and then they're doing sound at night because you know, unless you're working for one of the bigger venues, you're doing it as a labor of love, which is something that respect that people do that.
It's a very odd culture shift between the stateside, even bands and anyone in that music industry versus, you know, over here. Over here, it's very well respected, and everyone gets kind of the government grants. It's, in a lot of ways, it's a lot easier. I mean, you can even the drives. I mean, you can drive to another country in 2-3 hours. Whereas for us to get to another state, most of the time you're driving 6 to 8.
Just to get home for you, it's like 10. That's like
right.
A lot.
And then and then we don't have the government money, and you know, it's. I think it's a lot harder from a band from the States to really get kickstarted and get moving because a lot of stuff comes out of your pocket. Even sound guys, they probably, again, secondary source of income. It's not their primary. So
primary. Yeah. It's like very interesting stuff to know because like I said, I've never, one day I'll come out for something.
You should. It is an experience. There is like Poznan, Poland is just, again, another beautiful city. It's something that you have to experience, in my opinion. At least once in your life. And if you come out to the metal festivals, I mean, they're just incredible. Partisan, Brutal Assault, they were both just, it's a completely different experience than going to the festivals back home. So
I heard the festivals are great in Europe, and I hear they're great in South America, and nobody goes harder than South America. Metalheads.
Yeah. Yeah, I did not go to South America with Cloak, but that's what they were saying as well, that South America was pretty, they were wild.
Yeah. I love that. I appreciate you for coming on. We're getting to like what, hour and a half, so I should probably wrap it up before our producers like stop. Now you've given me so much work to do.
Thanks for having me. I'm sorry I gave you work. It was fun
conversation. No, you're good. We would love to have you back on to talk about the after the tour, if you could, to talk about how it went, and because that'd be amazing. Because I want to know all about the shows. I'm definitely going to try to make it out, do my absolute best to make it out to York for the show in September. But thank you, everybody. Go check out Burial Oath. Go stream the lyrics video. Go like them. They're on Spotify. They're on Facebook. They're on Instagram. Check them out.
And we'll try to keep you guys updated on upcoming shows that are around the area or around areas that we know we have a lot of friends around.
Sure.
Thank you. We appreciate you so much.
Thank you, ladies. I appreciate it.
Bye. Oh, he was so nice.
Isn't he nice? He's such a good friend. And like, I really am very thankful that he would make the time, because I know he says he's somebody who can manage doing all this. And like, I know it's his job to go from one tour to the next tour to the next tour to recording or drumming for bands. But it really means something when people make that time, even though they say it's fine. Like, it really does mean something to me and this podcast.
I can't even explain to viewers, like, when we looked at his schedule of upcoming shows, like, I'm talking almost every night. So the fact that he took the time to hop on in between that kind of schedule, like, thank you so much. And that, I mean, another one of your friends that is awesome that we end up just
like
an hour or something.
An incredibly accomplished musician in general, and definitely, I think, like, somebody to look up to with that drive in general. Just like a great person, somebody like an aspirational person, in my opinion.
Man, I was kind of like having a little bit of a pity party for myself this morning. I'm like, I'm really tired, like, blah, blah, blah. Like, and then I hear about all that he's doing, and I'm like, dude, like,
you're like,
I
get it.
No.
You're also valid for being tired because you had a crazy Saturday night. How was Slipknot? How was the performance?
It was awesome. First of all, let me just tell you, I went around the parking lot with American Mosh Pits, and the fans were so much fun. I mean, we had all sorts of just crazy characters and people just having a great time. Then Orbit Culture opened for the night, and they started a huge pit. And I mean, it was packed. I haven't seen that many people there in years. First of all, the mosh pit, it was in the middle, and we're in retrospect, we're off to the side, like in front, right against like the rail, like before the sitting section. The mosh pit was literally swirling around like it was a twister. And all you saw was like the motion of people. Like, it was just insane. I haven't seen a mosh pit like that in person in years.
Yeah.
And it was just, it was great. Especially, like, I was really excited because they didn't play anything from later than 99.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I was in my element.
A little nervous when you showed up, and then you realized it was all the songs you knew, and it really added a lot more to it.
And like, we couldn't have got better. Like, we were in the field for this one. Like, I was debating seats, and I'm like, you know what? No, I want to do field. Like, that's where all the action's going to be. It's going to be fun. So a group of us had gone, and we did the field. We ended up lucking out right before Slipknot went up. I don't know why, but all the crowd like shifted and went to the other side.
You had a lot of people who were really there to see Knocked Loose. So you have the people who really wanted to be up front for Knocked Loose, and then you
happened to slide up at the right time, ended up being right against the front barrier, and literally I had a clear shot all night of the band. I mean, we couldn't have had better seats. Like, my friend was filming because my phone died, unfortunately, but we had a clear way. Like, usually there's people like standing or whatever. We had a couple horns put in the air, but overall, I mean, we had a clear shot of the stage. They just put on an electrifying performance. I was very proud to be a Slipknot fan last night.
Yeah, I'm super happy to
Not
hear you enjoyed
amazing.
yourself because it was that is something you were looking so much forward to, and the fact that it really delivered. It didn't rain. The weather was fucking perfect for a show. No rain, no nothing like that. When there was that risk of it,
And I
I'm
was
super.
so impressed with Knock Loose. Knock Loose,
They're
they were
great.
so good. So good.
I
Like
think it's
I
funny
just kind of heard a couple of their songs that I had quickly like listened to like over the past like 2 weeks, but they were incredible live.
I've seen Knox Loose 3 times. I think the first time I saw them, it's really interesting because I saw them in like small venues up until recently when they really blew up. So it's like really crazy that they're playing these really large stage. Is when I originally saw them, they were only just like playing these really small like mixed bills with people. And people were like, "Oh yeah, like Knock Loose, blah blah blah," and they're more of a hardcore adjacent band than what they are now. So it's like really, I love seeing bands blow up. I hope the same for a lot of the other bands in the hardcore community. Being from Philadelphia, I don't go to as many hardcore shows as I used to, but I have a deep love and respect for the hardcore community. They
I was
fuel the
a little
city.
concerned for like Orbit Culture and Knock Loose just because it was Slipknot's 25th. But I'm telling you, it was consistent energy all the way through.
I'm
Both
sure.
of those bands absolutely killed it. The energy was just incredible. Like so much fun. How was the show that you went to?
The show I went to was it was really good. It was what was it? Gosha played. I love Gosha. They're just like a really cool band. And if you know anything about me, I love the dark and morbidity. I love just I'm a theologist. I love religion. So a band even being named Gosha is really cool for me. I am just like I love the themes of that band. I love like they're great. So I always come out and see them. I saw them. I think it's my third time seeing them. Molder, amazing DC lineup, a great bands. Just very impressed with how great Molder was and Gosha was, and in general, they're fucking phenomenal. They were killing it at the KFN to the point that it was an early show. It ended at 10. Because there was literally somebody screaming "fuck that DJ night" that was coming on after, because they did so good. They just wanted them to keep playing. So it was great. It was a great show, and I love going out. I love doing my thing. And if you see me around, say hi. If you see Allie around, say hi. And we appreciate you guys. We appreciate all our listeners. And thanks for tuning in every week. I guess this is a good note to end it on. We appreciate you guys, like Burial Oath, like Cloak, like Wild Times, like especially like A Pretty Little Podcast. And thank you for coming again tonight. I'm going to let Allie sign out.
We will see everybody next week. And thanks again for tuning in to A Pretty Little Podcast.
Bye.